We're not
Nevermore.
going to do
Famous
that.
Caitlin Nevermore, and we are
Yeah.
live. Right. Hello,
Hi.
everyone. You can tell we're already having so much fun behind the scenes here, coming forward just a little bit here on the other side of the studio. And this is where we just talk about life. We talk about everything related to your health, your well being, your happiness, your strength. And I'm getting a notice. But this is where we find ourselves having conversations outside of the studio, outside of the gym, outside of that doctor's office, where you can become your own medicine. I am so beyond excited about my guest today.
Yeah.
It is
Yay.
the Caitlin Naramore, as we were
Yay.
saying.
She's like, is it Naramore? I was like, yeah, but you could be in Naramore. Yeah.
And she is no doubt, no doubt the modern queen. And I am just so blessed to know Caitlin and to have been in her presence, and every moment that you're in her presence, which all of you will find today, is that you're going to be blessed and touched by her beauty, her grace, her just unbelievable way. Welcome, Caitlin. I'm so excited.
Thank you. And the feeling is mutual from the moment I met you, Lauren. It was just like instant, it was one of those ones where you're just like, I love you. Like just an instant mutual adoration club.
Well, thank you. It just is very special, and so excited to be with you in a month.
I know.
But here we are now, and I love, as I said earlier, everything about you and all that you bring forward, and complaint-free living and modern queen. So do share.
Okay. I guess I'll start with Modern Queen. Modern Queen is my business. I'm a coach for women, although I've had a couple of exquisite kings join ship lately, especially. I work primarily with healers, with medicine women, with relationship coaches, people who are really on the evolutionary tip and have magical skills to help shift humanity into our higher selves and release a lot of trauma and all the things. So I've been a healer in my past, studied in multiple modalities, and at a certain point I was like, I have some skills to pay the bills and so forth, to be able to also then extend to my people and help them get their businesses up and running to 6 figures and beyond. So I've dedicated the last few years of my life to that, with some health challenges, and we can talk about that. I pivoted my business from group programs to more VIP one-on-one kind of thing. So it's just been a quieter presence of late, which then feels really good to be on this podcast and be like, hello, Modern Queen she's still here. And I had to kind of pull back the reins a little bit while my health took precedence, which then segues into the complaint-free living, which we can get into, but I don't know if you have any questions about the Modern Queen or anything.
No, love all about the Modern Queen, and no doubt, as being someone in that space and needing that support and that healing voice and that your nurturing side of helping entrepreneurs and business owners, that we all need that support, and we need to hear it from someone like you. So yes, she has a gift. She truly, Caitlin, again, I've had the privilege, which it truly is a privilege, of being in your presence multiple times, and it's truly felt. So thank you for sharing that gift with all of us who definitely in this space need it. Yeah.
And I mean, we could go on and on, but women, women alone, we finding our own rhythm in a masculine world. I'll just pay it point blank. It's much more nuanced than that. But, there's that element, and working with women who operate not so rigid or not so structured, and, finding ways to really support these women to have a successful business while also maintaining their own organic rhythm. It's an interesting journey, and you know, I'm sure any women here can probably relate. Depending on the type of woman you are, of course, it's not. So nothing is that like cut and dry, but there's also the element, you know, a lot of women can be afraid to come out, come forward with their voice, with their truth, with their presence, with their here I am. In the, you know, there's layers around that, but fear of judgment, ancient fear of persecution, like we get in there, right? Me and my clients. And so it's just been such an honor to be a part of this, like, feminine rising, like, hey, you know, this empowerment, this, like, we're so beyond capable, and we have gifts that the world needs, I think, sometimes desperately now. And this innate wisdom that is, like you said, the word nurturing, life connected, just all the ways in which, especially when you're a healer, you're just attuned. And it's a different way than some of the more just rigid keeps coming to mind, but you know, rigid modern way. And so women coming in and just bringing our magic, bringing our medicine, bringing our wisdom forward, I believe is part of like the cure. And so that's, you know, a vague but philosophical, you know, view on how I work and the women I support and kind of the journeys that we're all on to come to our ultimate empowerment. Yeah. And that includes financial empowerment.
Beautiful.
1,000%.
Mm-hmm. And it's a tough one. I mean, as I was just sharing, I was having a mindset session, and, you know, it truly is, you know, our unconscious mind, especially as a female, really can attach to some old tapes and old ways. And it's very, very challenging to cut that cord. And, you know, it really takes, you know, having the strength to go inward and having a guide who can allow that space and that brave space, I like to call it.
You're brave. So brave.
It's brave. It is so brave. And it's so freeing and so empowering, so that we as women can thrive in anything, whether it is in your business or it is, you know, managing your home, your relationships. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
I talk about helping women, you know, become queens in all areas of their life. You know, like, be the queen, hashtag, like, but it's true, you know, because, and Alok and I talk about this a lot, you know, it's like, as goes one element of your life, as goes everything, you know. It's all so deeply connected.
Yeah. Well, so beautiful, and just so grateful to know, one, Alok is my coach, and Caitlin is now just a part of the whole community of Uplift Millions, which is a community. It'll skip me crying if I start thinking about
go for it. Go.
You know, right? I feel like I've just been flooded with tears, you know, as of late, but in a beautiful way, in a really, really good, releasing way. But the whole community that, you know, I know we all have within Limitless and the Uplift Millions community is just mind-blowing. And you're such a key part of this. You're such a beautiful voice. And I do have to spontaneously bring up a voice, because your voice is magical, and you have some really, I don't know where it is now, but I got to hear the debut of a song.
Oh, right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Thank you. Almost a year, and you've had a lot going on behind the scenes, I think.
Yes. Well, the EP is, as of yesterday, like literally I went to the studio and all of the songs are, you know, completely mastered. The next step is to basically launch the EP, which I'm in the process of, which is likely, and, you know, speaking of coming out of the closet, like I'm making music videos.
I know. I got to do it.
Which is like, what's that?
Johnny, she's been just sharing. So grateful to have you here. But she was like, yes.
Johnny is here. Yeah. So it's happening, and it's been, you know, it's been a slower process based on health and kind of energetic capacity this year. So, but I have stayed true, recorded 4 full songs and 1 intro song. So I have like a 5-song EP. That was my vision, at least to start. And this is like literally 20 something years in the making. I have wanted to do this.
Oh, I'm just so
So it's actually, thank you for mentioning that. It is happening, and this fall, I'll be launching.
oh my gosh, I just got chills. I just got chills.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can say it's either I cry or I get chills when
yes.
something really powerful is happening. So
Oh, thank
I
you. Yeah.
we all can't wait to hear. I know Jennifer, yes, you do need to hear because she is amazing, amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope that when we are in the room again this year, coming up here in July in Phoenix, that we will be able to be blessed by your voice.
Well, that is I will not be performing by choice because energy reserves.
Yeah,
It's a lot to go up on stage, and
I understand.
anyways,
Yeah,
anyone who deals with chronic health conditions, I kind of don't know where I'm going to be on any given day.
yeah,
And I just didn't want to put the extra pressure this year on myself to perform. So,
yeah.
but there may be another something that I don't want to give away that will
Okay,
be presented
surprises.
at the event. Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. But thank you. That is like, woo, talk about voice, and like, I really it's such, I can't believe it's happening, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. And it was a really beautiful, creative process that I feel so blessed to have been able to actually finally do, like literally years.
Oh my gosh. Well, seeing you up on stage, I can visualize it now. You were just stunning, stunning. No one, I don't know if you had any, like if you were shaking up there on stage
Oh
or
yeah.
it was not at all, none of us could see that other than your beauty and your voice. And
Thank
it was just
you.
full
Thank you.
out unreal. So I can't wait to hear the EP and all that comes with that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Really, it means
Wait,
so much to me.
I'll be in line to buy it. You guys are all going to want to
Yes.
download it or however the means, however you're able to. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
definitely grab it.
Thank you. It's called Destiny.
Destiny. Oh, so
Yeah.
fitting. So fitting. Oh.
Yeah. Woo, there they are.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it. All right. Okay. So, all good, beautiful stuff. Now, the title of today is Complaint Free Living.
Yeah.
And I was just sharing with Caitlin before we got on that I was so grateful for her group and what she's doing with Modern Queen and bringing forward this complaint free living, which really has shocked me, the awareness that I have now of how often, as we said, internally, and then even sometimes voicing externally out there going, Lauren, you're complaining, stop it. But I realized how just that awareness alone has shifted so much. And I'm just so grateful. So share how that came forward for you.
It's so funny right now. I'm like, how did that come forward? I think it was, I think I just became like, I think I just sort of became aware. I was like, I'm really complaining.
Mhm.
Like there are elements in my life that, I'm like, oh, I am like, oh, that is what is considered a complaining thing. And complaining is when you tend to view something with some lens of negativity, right? Some emotional, dislike. And it just sort of it was like almost like a dawned on me kind of moment where I was like,
Yeah.
wow, whoa, look at that. Like I consider myself a very positive person. And I think, overall I am, but then I was like, wait a second, sneaky complaint. And then I'm trying to remember, it was back in April. I put a post up to kind of start the group and to get things moving. And my stepmother, who is, hi, Wendy DiPietro, she's amazing. She's a therapist and like a saint. I swear, she's just so like animals, all of our animals follow her around. Like we call her like St. Francis, like she just has this like really beautiful, beneficent spirit. And she introduced me to the book, Complaint, what is it called? Complaint Free Living John, what is his name? Oh God, see, I haven't
I
even
know.
picked it up in a minute. But,
I
I'll remember it. I'll put it in the comments. So in his book, he does it's a 21-day goal, essentially, to reach 21 days of no complaints. Now, I started this in April and I have not completed 21 days yet. And in the book, they do say that it can take months because it's so ingrained. And I think I made it to like, oh God, I think I made it to like maybe even 16 days, 18. I made it pretty far.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember the incident, but something got me. And I was like, and then, I think I was like, oh, look, that was complaining, wasn't it? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, man. Because whenever you complain, you have to go back to day one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the book. And the idea, he has these bracelets, or you could put like a rubber band. I haven't been great about that, but every time you complain, you switch wrists.
Oh,
so it's this way of like really tracking. I haven't been great about that, but I have paid attention to when I do and don't complain. And like you said, I mean, it's just like, okay, we're not going to be perfect on this journey, but whoa, suddenly become very aware. And you become aware of the people around you.
That's what yeah.
And you realize, wow, it is actually way more normalized to be a complaining society than it is to actually just be happy. Because the number one thing I have found is when I'm not complaining, genuinely am a happier person. I have more energy. I'm not like, it literally was like fascinating to witness, especially when I first started. I was like, oh my God. Like I feel better. Yeah. I am a happier citizen. I'm a happier woman. Yeah. I'm a better partner.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for grievances. I'm not looking for like what's wrong with life.
Yeah.
And just gratitude. It's not like, I know many of us probably have or have had gratitude practices. It's kind of like you're just automatically living in gratitude when you're not complaining about life.
Right. And it really shifts everything I found. And as you're saying, I mean, it just, even the energy between, the exchange of others or just anything, like even driving down the road.
1,000,000% road rage, right?
Right.
All of it. Everywhere. And like anyone watching, like, if you're interested, start to pay attention.
Yeah.
Start to notice.
Please.
Oh, like, I don't like this thing. There's so many ways, subtle too. It can be extremely subtle. And again, even in thoughts.
Yeah. I'm big on, just in the work I do is, judgment-free zone. There's absolutely no judgment allowed here. Self-judgment, judgment of others. It's always a reflection of yourself, is always shared. But complaint-free, but complaining, and we never realize just how often we can just complain about the food or the service or the whatever it may be, it just really, everybody listening, do take this challenge. Is the group still available for others?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's called Complaint-Free Queens. Complaint-Free Queens. And if you're listening and you want to join, you can put a little emoji, a little hands up, or just go ahead and look for that group, type it in and ask to join. But either way, hop on board. It's, I'm leading it, but I'm also pretty hands off, just so, it's sort of a self-led group. It's more just, hey, let's be in the energy and commitment of non-complaint together. And I pop in, and occasionally other women pop in. But it's more just this like, hey, if this is ringing bells in your spirit, like, wow, because really, I think people go, wow, complain. Oh shit, I complain all the time. Like, I think we don't even think about it until it's presented, and then you go, oh, wow. And then it's like, how do we then? It's like, it doesn't mean you have to like the food you don't like, right?
Yeah.
But it also means you have a certain grace and elegance about how you're going to be about it. And you're not going to bring the energy down of the entire table by talking about how bad the food is.
Yeah.
And this goes to gossip too. P.S. I think gossip, judgment, and complaint all are like this trinity of like human condition hell that we all live in to varying degrees.
Yes. Yes, yes.
And same thing. And I've noticed that I'm like, if someone has said something negative about someone without even meaning to, I then have a lens of that person that I
Right.
wouldn't have had
Right.
if that person didn't say that. And I don't even know if it's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so same thing with complaining, like maybe, you know, you're out at this dinner and somebody's like, ooh, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like enjoying it. Maybe I got the same dish. And
Yeah.
suddenly I'm like, oh, is this bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know, like it just, you know, it's
Yeah.
like we really affect each other's reality. And if
Absolutely.
we're like shit talking,
Yep.
it really has ripple effects. And I
Yeah, we do.
feel like, especially as leaders, we have a
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah. Well, it really does. Yeah, I call it the bad juju. You know, you just pick up the bad vibe or energy and just, you know, again, it doesn't mean that the other person is a bad person. We know that.
No,
It
no.
just means it really, you know, for me, it has allowed me to have or pause and evaluate, you know, who are you choosing to be around?
Yeah.
Or two, how can you make an impact to shift that energy so that it can help release for whoever it is that's struggling, you know,
Mhm.
by complaining or judging, because we all know that complaining and judging is just a mere reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
And that's very, very hard for others, you know, for some to really accept that and
Yeah.
own that. But how can we shift that energy so that it can help release for that person, you know, that's
Yeah.
in our company so that they can be free of it and also
Mhm.
experience that softness. I call it just the softness.
The
It's just,
softness,
you know,
the
not the
softness.
rigid, you know, because yeah, that rigid life usually does lead to the complaint life,
Yeah,
the complaining life.
it's
Um,
true. It's
that
true.
when you can release and flow, boy, what a, you know, what a difference it makes. So
Yeah. 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 And you know, there's nuances to all of it. It's not like you excuse people's bad behaviors, but you know, like I think there's like I wrote in one of my posts, I was like, this, you know, anybody experiencing like straight up abuse, this does not apply. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that's, you know, there's, you know, variations across the board, but just
yeah,
as a general rule for, you know, relatively functioning adults,
yeah,
coming into our power, coming into our voice, coming into our leadership, coming into our spirits, you know, as humans on earth, it's like, wait a second, you know, where did I get that from? Because that's an
yeah,
ingrained, you know, societal or inherited, you know, something. And it's just a really great opportunity to catch it. And
yeah,
yeah, in the company of others, I can't say I've like fully mastered that. I think it depends on kind of your relationship with the person.
yeah,
Like, hey, can I offer you some feedback? I noticed, you know, I don't know, you know, like permission based, like feedback is one. The author, his name I'm spacing right now, of that book,
yeah. I
he
can't remember either. My
he
sister
like
was,
he has just a funny one that I think is incredibly bold. But it's like, let's say someone is going like, oh, that person, they're so lazy. They never can get anything done right. They, you know, they're just, you know, a loser. I don't know, whatever, right? Let's just
right.
whatever example. And, you know, I think it's such a fascinating, I don't know. I haven't practiced it. I think it's incredibly bold. And I think you have to, I think there's like a way to deliver it that's effective and probably not, but you would just go like, yeah, I think it's really amazing how organized you are.
I love it.
You like confirm, because when we're complaining or judging someone or talking about them, we're kind of being better than.
Yeah.
We're putting them down, right? And we're like
Yeah.
somehow positioning ourselves to kind of like, it's so you sort of like confirm them and they have nowhere, it's like this very Tai Chi, they have nowhere to go with it.
I
Because you're
like
not resisting
that.
it and you're not. So, anyways, this is all from the book, but I'm like, wow, that's some like advanced.
Yeah,
You know,
I
just
love
that's just really
that.
amazing how much you have your shit together, and you know, I
Yeah.
really admire that about you. And this,
Oh,
I,
I'm gonna have to try that.
I
I
know,
find myself shifting and saying something positive about the same subject, you know, whether it's a
right?
person or a situation or the food.
Yeah,
I have found myself shifting with the positive on the
yeah.
backside of that, and it's almost like a shift. I don't know if that's the right. I don't know what
No,
it
I
is.
think
What it
that's
is.
probably just pivot, and just keep yourself out of the complaint, because what can happen is we just join in. I think that can, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
How many times has anybody been in a conversation where somebody's like, rah, 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 and you're like, I know, I just, rah, 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 and you kind of commiserate.
Yeah, yes, you do. I know.
Misery loves company.
And there it all goes. I know.
It all goes, and the quality of the energy just drops. It just drops. So catching ourselves, and whether that's just changing the subject, or, I mean, heck, I suppose you could just be like, yeah, I'm not interested in this conversation. You're going to be point blank. There's many different ways, but it's just
exactly. Yeah, you've hit on something, just even, in being an effective leader, right? As we all lead, we can all, I think we all desire to have a beautiful world that's filled with peace and love and gratitude and giving and sharing, versus all the hate that we have going on today. But just thinking before you do complain is the ripple effect of it, right? Yeah. And so that little pebble that's being tossed into the big ocean is actually rippling. So for me, that has helped so much as I pause before I even have the utter of wanting to complain or say something judgmental, is to understand the ripple that really does have. And let's try to shift that. Let's kind of shift over to where we're rippling out all good stuff.
Exactly.
It's not all like hippy dippy rosy colored glasses. It's not all of that. It's just real stuff, guys. It is. I mean, there's a time and place, as you mentioned earlier, for, having to make statements of if you're being harmed or, but in general, we can all think about times that we have joined in the complaint party. So.
And the complaint, the judgment, the gossiping, they really all go hand in hand. It's all kind of the same circuitry, which is the circuitry of conditioning. We call it human. There's a certain human conditioning, and we all, well, who am I to say? Not we all, but many of us want to be free. And we want to be liberated and living in
I do.
in a joyful way, right? And the instant complaint just is a joy killer.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Down. It is. It's just like, no. Uplift everyone. So
and again, we're gonna have deep moments of grief and deep moments of feeling. It's not, this isn't like a spiritual bypass thing. It's just a choice and a way of life that's like, am I going, in this moment, am I going to choose to regard whatever situation and even hardship, through the eyes of, complaint, or, hey, I'm like, whatever, version, that just like, God, I know you got me.
Yes.
Yeah. And trust me, I ain't perfect, like I said, I have not made it to 21 days complaint free yet. So it's a muscle, and it takes, awareness primarily, and then practice, to really, really, and the goal is to live a complete free life. And he talks about it in this book, and it's, he talked about an exercise he did in a workshop he was teaching. And there was an odd number, so he ended up partnering with someone in the program, and the exercise was like, voice all your complaints, just let it out, just here's your chance, before you change, just let it all out. And she just goes on and on and on, right? And when it came to be his turn, he literally couldn't find anything to complain about, because he was so far along in practice.
Wow,
he said, and you'll reach that point, where it's like unconscious competence, he calls it. Where the now no longer is the unconsciousness the complaining consciousness, but the unconsciousness is free.
And that is, everybody, because I've studied, and I always botch his name, and I don't mean to say it like that, but he is a psychologist from the University of Chicago, and he is the one who brought forward the flow state, and he's Dr. Csikszentmihalyi, or Beautiful. I really went in depth and just so fascinated how you find yourself in the state of flow. And he studied those that had gone through, who had suffered, um, gosh, is it World War? It was during the war, and he studied a group of people, and I'm totally getting this all, somebody can correct me. But let's just say the gist of it all is that there was a segment of people that, even though they were suffering and they were going through very, very difficult times, they still found joy. And he said that is the flow state, is that you're able to weather through, or you're able to, persevere, or however you want to term it. And literally, I think it is this, it's being able to step outside of yourself and be able to connect and flow without complaining or or feeling sorry for yourself. And he found that those people, those were the ones that really experienced longevity. They were truly happy.
Yes.
Because they were.
And this all links back to your work. You're like, forget, what, it's not at the doctor's office. It may not be at the gym. There's, that can be part of it, but like, these kinds of practices and this kind of awareness is just like, wow,
So
and there's so many layers to it. We could go real deep, but as it is, it's just like, okay, steady as she goes, and that that awareness. And it's easy to forget too, and again, why having a group like Complaint Free Queens is beneficial, to just be like, oh yeah, right, a touch point for a way of being in this world.
Love every bit of it. So for anyone, we will drop in Complaint Free Queens, just for anyone that's interested in jumping in that group, because I highly recommend. I also recommend getting in touch with Caitlin if you're open to that. I have your website. Is that the best place for? I'm just going to pop it up here.
Website. They can contact me in DM. I have a Modern Queen Fempreneur group of about 1,300 or 1,400 women too. So on Facebook.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I, as you can hear, her voice and just her presence alone just will lift you and fill you up. And no doubt we'll have you out there complaint free. And doing that.
Bitch, hello in your business. Woo!
Woo! Powerful. Seriously. So
like I said, we could keep going, because it is so easy to complain about countless things as an entrepreneur.
Right? So seriously, she will have you levitating, no doubt, but elevating in your business. And I have witnessed it. She is, Caitlin, you're just the real deal. You are just so beautiful, as we've had some beautiful comments. And Jennifer, I have to go. Oh, love you. Hello.
Is that Jennifer Bunn?
I know. There are so many comments here that I'm just going to start dancing. And we have, yes, Jennifer. Jennifer just says Caitlin is beautiful inside and out, and that is very true. Okay. So, Caitlin, I can't thank you enough for blessing me with your presence today, and the community out there. So thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to see you in person. And
yes. You know what? Transcendence?
Yes.
Yay!
I will, so
come to Transcendence.
Come to Transcendence. Yes, everyone come. Let me tell you, I am still rippling from last year. Literally, I am still rippling. It was that powerful. It made me want to cry. As I told you, I either cry or I get chills. It is so. There is your.
This is our Uplift Millions event. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, the 28th of July through, it's like 3 days, whatever that third day is, the first or something.
So there are still tickets.
Yeah, there's still tickets available. They're going fast, but Yeah,
I
come
can't.
and join us.
Yeah, everyone join. And so we'll put the link for where you can get your ticket.
Great. We'll do that
Transcendence
too.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
powerful, powerful stuff.
I mean, in the room of basically angels and, human angels, like you're just going to be in a room. I know now I'm going to cry. Like
I know.
it is like such a powerful, literally a transcendent space.
Yeah, yeah.
Very few spaces like it on the planet.
I've never experienced anything like it, and it's been of just pure amazingness. Like nothing short of, I can't even, it's like beyond, it'll make me start crying too. I'm gonna have to do that because it's been powerful. So if you're interested, I recommend please join. Well, again, I'll drop the link in the chat once we're off.
Yeah, wonderful.
Caitlin,
Thank you.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you for sharing.
Yay. Let's keep
All right.
spreading it. All right. Mwah. Love to everybody. We'll see you next time on the other side of the studio. Ciao.
Ciao.